Hello everyone. Today our topic is the factors affecting employees' compensation. The term compensation represents the exchange between employees and organization. Both gives something in return for something else. In the past, the compensation issues were often confidential and governed by individual employers' preference and choices. However, in today's competitive world, the compensation policies are more transparent and the employees take their own choices based on the compensation package. Thus, balancing the cost of compensation and retaining the employees have become the most important priority for the organization. The compensation is a substitute word of wages and salaries, and it has recently originated. The literature of wages and salaries are enormous, but it considers the issues from a legal viewpoint. However, wages have now become very significant as a cost factor. Compensation is the remuneration received by an employee in returns of their contribution to the organization. The compensation management is an organized practice which is important for balancing the work and employee relationship by providing monetary and non-monetary compensation to employees. Compensation includes all form of pay given to the employees which arise from the employment. The one of the strapping feature of the organizations is compensation management and key, and they used it to attract and retain the most important and worthy asset. The compensation management is considered to be a complex process which requires accuracy and precision, and if not carried out properly may lead to employees dissatisfaction. An ideal compensation policy motivates the employees to work harder and with more determination. It also helps the organization to set the standards for job that is related, realistic and measurable. Compensation policies should have a sound integration with practices of HRM. One of the key functions of compensation management of any company is to create a hearty compensation among the employees in order to attain more efficiency and provide growth opportunities to its employees. According to Casio, the compensation includes direct cash payment and indirect payment in form of employees benefits and incentives to motivate employees to strive for higher levels of productivity. Now, according to Milkovich and Newman in 2005, the compensation is all form of financial returns, tangible services and benefits employees receive as part of an employment relationship. The phrase financial returns refers to an individual base salary as well as short and long term incentives. Tangible service or services and benefits are such things as insurance, paid vacation and sick days, pension plan, and employee discounts also. The first category is equity, which may take several forms. What is equity? It includes income distribution through narrowing of inequalities, increasing the income of lowest paid employees, protecting real wages, that is purchasing power, and the concept of equity pay for work of equal values. Compensation management strives for internal and external equity. Internal equity requires pay related to the worth of similar jobs so that similar job gets similar pay. External equity means paying workers what other firms in the labor market pay comparable workers. Compensation differentials based on differences in skills or contribution are all to concept of equity. Now inefficiency, in efficacy. What is efficacy or efficiency? Sorry. What is efficiency? The objective of efficiency are related to in attempts to link a part of wages to productivity or profit, group or individual performance, acquisition and application of skills, and so on. Arrangement to achieve efficiency may also be seen as being equitable if they fairly reward performance, or inequitable if the reward is viewed as unfair. Now, what is microeconomic stability? It can be achieved through high employment level and low inflation. For instance, an coordinate high minimum wages would have an adverse impact on levels employment. Tough at what levels these consequences would occur is a matter of debate. Although compensation policies influence macroeconomic stability and contribute to the balanced and sustainable economic development. Now, efficient allocation of labor. The efficiency allocations of labor in the labor market implies that employees will move to whenever or wherever they receive a net gain. Such movement may be from one geographical location to another, or from one job to another within or outside an enterprise. The provision or ability or availability of financial incentive causes such movement. Now, motivating the employees. Employees may have talent, but they will not be motivated to use their talent unless they know that they will be awarded duly for their contribution towards organizational objectives, or be punished for not contributing as per the demands of the job. Now, acquired qualification or qualified employees. Compensation needs to be high enough to attract applications or applicants. Pay levels must respond to supply and demand of workers in the labor market, since employers compete for workers. Now, retain current employees. Employees may quit when compensation levels are not competitive, resulting in higher turnover. Therefore, one of the important objectives of compensation management is retaining the human capital or talent of the organization. Now, reward desired behavior. Pay should reinforce desired behavior and act as incentive for those behaviors to occur in future. Cost control. A rational compensation system helps the organization obtain and retain workers at reasonable cost, comply with legal regulations. A sound wage and salary system considers the legal challenges imposed by the government and ensures the employer's compliance. Now, facilitate understanding. The human resource specialists, operating managers, and employees should easily understand the compensation management. It is very important. Further administrative efficiency. Wages and salaries program should be designed to be managed efficiently, making optimal use of HRIS, that is Human Resource Information System. Now, principles of compensation formulation. There are following 7 principles of compensation formulation. In 2014, now I discuss in details. First, organization should have a unambiguous plan to determine differential pay levels in terms of different job requirements involving varied skills, exertions, responsibility, and working conditions. An attempt should be made to keep the common level of wages and salaries of the organization in line with that obtained in the labor market. Adequate attention should be taken to distinguish people from the jobs, although people are paid in terms of rate embodied in specific jobs. Some exceptions should be allowed in the cases of professional and executive personnel by paying them in terms of their abilities and contribution. The care should be taken irrespective of individual considerations to ensure that equal pay for equal work. There should be a plan to adopt an unbiased measure for identifying individual differences in capacity and contribution in the form of rate ranges within the grade increments, wages, incentive schemes, and a system of job promotion. There should be proper procedure for handling the wage grievances in organization. Adequate care should be taken to inform the employees and the union, if any, about the procedure followed in determining wage rates. There were no confidential wages, and the employees should have a clear understanding of their wage or salary structure. This will enhance employee satisfaction with wages. There are certain certain guiding principles which provide the foundation for effective reward management. Now, components of compensation. Job description. The job description is the written responsibility, functions, duties, requirements, conditions, environment, location, and other facets of jobs. Job analysis, the process of analyzing the job, is job analysis, and job descriptions are also developed from it. Job analysis techniques include the use of interviews, questionnaires, and observations. Job evaluation, it is a process of comparing jobs for the determining adequate compensation for individual jobs or job elements. Pay structure. The pay structure includes the several grades and each grade containing a minimum salary, increment, and grade range. Salary surveys. It is a collection of survey of salary and market data and also includes inflation indicators, average salaries, cost of living indicators, salary budget averages. Companies may purchase results of surveys conducted by survey vendors or may conduct their own salary survey. Policies and regulations. Compensation is supposed to be as fair if it is contain the system of components to develop and maintain internal and external equity in organization. When job is evaluated, then the relative worth of a given collection of duties and responsibilities to be organization is assessed. This process is adopted to help a management to maintain high level of employees productivity and employees satisfaction also. If job valued is not properly studied, it is very likely that jobs would not be properly priced. That is, high valued job received less pay than less valued job. When employees realize this, then they will become dissatisfied and they may leave the organization, reduce their efforts, or perhaps adopt other moods or behavior detrimental detrimental to the organization. Therefore, in modern society, a great deal of attention is paid to the value of a job. In other words, a person is paid for what he brings to a job, his education, training, and experience, provided that these are related to the requirements of the job which he is assigned. The basic procedure of job evaluation is to compare the content of jobs in relation one another and also in terms of their skills or responsibility or some other requirement. In India, the National Institute of Personnel Management has laid down the following steps which should be taken to install a job evaluation program. Analyze and prepare job description. Select and prepare a job evaluation plan. Classify jobs. Install the program. Maintain the program. Wages determination process. The process of job analysis. Results of a job description lead to job specification. A job analysis describes the duties, responsibilities, working conditions, and internal relationship between the jobs and as it is and the other jobs with which it is associated. It attempts to record and analyze details concerning the training, skills, required efforts, qualification, abilities, experience, and responsibilities expected of an employee after determining the job specification. The actual process of grading, rating, or evaluating the job occurs. A job is rated in order to determine its value relative to all the other jobs in the organization which are subject to evaluation. Now, wages surveys, when the worth of job is resolved by job evaluation, then the definite amount of the must paid, and it is determined by wage or salary surveys in the concerned area. Such surveys seek to answer questions like what are other firms paying? What are they doing by way of social insurance? What is the pay level which is offered by other firms of similar occupation, etc.? By gathering information about benchmark job, which are usually known as good indicators, such wage surveys provide many kinds of useful information about differences in wage levels for particular kinds of occupation. This can have great influence on an organization's compensation policy. Now, relevant organizational problems. In addition to the results of job analysis and wage surveys, several other variables have to be given due to consideration in establishing wage structure. For example, whether there exists a well established and well accepted relationship among certain jobs which can upset job evaluation, whether the organization would recruit new employees after revised wage structure at the prevailing rate in the industry or community inconsistent with the results of job evaluation. What will be the result of paying lower or higher compensation, and what should be the relationship between the wage structure and the fringe benefit structure? Now, preparation of wage structure. I think the video is long. Please stay with me. The preparation of wage structure. The next step is to determine the wage structure. For this, several decisions need to be taken, such as whether the organization wishes or is able to pay amount above and below or equal to the average in the community or industry, whether wage ranges should provide for merit increases or whether there should be single rates, the number and width of the pay grade, and the extent of overlap which jobs are be placed in there. There are though no hard and fast rules for making such decision, and procedure commonly used is the two-dimensional graph on which the job evaluation points for key jobs are plotted against the actual paid against actual amounts paid or against desired level. Plotting the remaining jobs then reveals which jobs seem to be improperly paid with respect to the key jobs and each other. So that's the end of the video, my friends. If you like my video, please subscribe and share it. Thanks again for watching my video. Have a good day.